going to do a story. And since we're coming up on Valentine's Day, I'm going to do a love story, sort of. See if I get the hang of this microphone. I don't know the direct light, how far I should hold it from away, but the wind was gentle as the sun began to set and darkness rose. A young man walks down the shadowed streets, cautiously looking over left and right, as he didn't know what was lurking. The street lights and the gas flickered as he passed by, eyeing each shadow. His movement was obviously nervous and cautious. The light ignited behind him as he jumped back and noticed that an older gentleman was lighting and continuing on his way, hobbled back down. With a sigh of relief, he pulls out his pipe, begins to light it. Just then, he can hear it, and a small piece of metal flies, knocks the pipe right out of his hand, cutting right across his palm. He jumps back into the darkness and looks up, and the small buildings above him, he's trying to figure out where it came from, only to see a darkened figure, just as he can notice that a glisten as the next piece is about to come flying at him. He charges down the alleyways to lose sight, and youthful and agile, he begins climbing up the pipe to the top, only to be barely missed right past his face as the next one comes. This lethal, shadowy figure, he begins to chase it, but he can't quite keep up, and as they go, the person is quickly able to jump down, go between alleyways, almost to be running along the walls. The young man can barely keep up, and is several blocks down. They finally end in an alleyway. He reaches back, draws his blade, short sword. His opponent walks up. The lights show this lethal figure to be all clad in red. A grinning, devilish mask also draws, but this blade is short and serrated. They begin to clash for about 10 minutes, back and forth. His skill with grappling almost keeps him away from this assassin's agile maneuvers, but he gets cut several times. But his training manages to stay up, even with all the nicks and bleeding. At the very end, when they get into he finally catches his pursuer right in under the arms, only to be right in the knee, right in the gut. And then, as he sees it, but he can't react fast enough, a quick flash of red knocks him right across the face, and he falls down. The assassin kneels down, placing the serrated edge against his neck, pressing it in deep, and then all you hear is, "Say it." He just looks up. The blade begins to sink in deeper, and the serrations begin to cut into his neck. "Say it." He's like, tries to pull the blade back a little bit. You win. The mask comes off. A ivory-skinned, blue-eyed young brunette with a devilish smile leans in and says, "I love it when you say that, darling." And then she lowers herself onto him. The night goes from dark to, as the sun comes up, the young man stands up, his chest bares, he begins to put his clothes back on, ropes his neck. He looks back at his complicated relationship, who's just sitting there looking up at him, nude from the waist down, or from the waist up. He begins to walk away, and she says, "I'll see you tomorrow night." He looks back, nods his head, just as another right next to his head, turns back, and she will sit there with a little hand crossbow, saying, "If I don't kill you,